Thursday edition, box seats. Frank Holder here with Talent and Fig, comedians who've been around in the game for a long time. They've done festivals, films, commercials, toured the world, everything. Now they're doing a sports comedy talk show. Gentlemen, how you guys doing today, brothers? How's everything?
I got my good hat on, my lucky hat. I'm good.
Yes, sir. It's called Fed Midland.
Let's get the show started. First thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to breeze through this real fast, is in the COVID report, which I do all the time. Remember last weekend we were talking about the Texas Rangers opening up everybody to the whole stadium and everything else? Well, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
This morning I got a news report saying that the Texas Rangers have found out that several people have now been able to emergency hearing. Okay, I'm jumping to that in a second. Several people have got COVID from that event. I just got a news flash in literally while I was talking to you guys about the COVID report. Deshaun Watson's attorney files for a motion for an emergency hearing to ID one of the women who filed suit under the Jane Doe pseudonym, which means it looks like that they're getting ready to try to move forward with this rather quickly because Deshaun Watson wants to get out of that situation. We're going to jump back into Deshaun Watson in a second, but let's continue on moving on with this because that's huge. First thing I want to talk about, man, is I don't know if you all saw this story, right? And I'm gonna throw this on your lap, Talent. I don't know if you saw this story because it's serious. Former NFL player Phillip Adams, he killed 5 people last night in South Carolina, and then he killed himself. He played in 78 NFL games. He played with Seattle, Atlanta, Oakland, the Patriots, and the Jets. And he killed 5 people. 2 of those people he killed were children. He shot them all and killed them all last night. I didn't see a lot of places on the thing like that. Now, my thing I'm bringing up to you, Talent, is do you think finally the NFL is going to pay attention to the seriousness of this CTE situation? Because I'm willing to bet $1 billion that I don't have that this is all related to CTE because they said literally he flipped his mind. He just flipped. 1 minute he was okay.
Right.
Gun and he kills everyone around him. So what's your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts is, I got to get up every morning and do my news show. And I seen this story and it was so early. They didn't even have all the names and everything. All they knew was the amount of people killed, somebody still in serious condition. And they said it was a doctor, the wife, and the 2 kids and somebody else. So we got to hear the full story. Like you just killing me with that it was the NFL player. I think that if this is his situation where 1 minute he's good and then out of nowhere he just flipped and killed 5 people like this, you got to go back and revisit the CTE thing. I mean, not that I know it's quiet and I don't want to say that like disrespect the NFL like they're doing nothing about it. I think it needs to be in the forefront. The same way we got all these other movements going on with different people. I think this puts CTE in the NFL forefront.
I'm gonna throw this out there to you, Talent. I thought when Will Smith made that movie, years ago, I thought it was gonna put it in the forefront, and then Junior Seau situation happened, and it still didn't move. I'm just trying to figure out how many people got to die before the NFL really pays attention to this and draws up some kind of line, something. You know what I mean? When people are killing other people, especially ex-NFL players who are hitting some type of hardship, and it all boils down to getting hit on the head, But Fig, what's your thoughts?
The thing is that we got to think about who we're dealing with here. We're dealing with NFL owners, which are all billionaires, you know what I mean, and collective. So they have the ability and the power to make things go away, even though there's a movie made about it and people die. They're not really interested in life or death. You can tell by the way they treat the players, on the field. Although people say, oh, they make a lot of money, but at the end of the day, the way they manipulate these players and what have you, it just goes to show that human life is not in the forefront of their mind. At the end of the day, what really is in the forefront of these NFL owners' mind is just basically the money. And it's horrific and tragic that another human being has to lose their life or take the lives of others because of something that could have possibly been prevented. It's just horrible.
Yeah, I agree with you 1,000%. My thing is with the CTE situation, I thought it got to the forefront with the Will Smith movie. But when Junior Seau killed himself, you know what I mean? He was a pretty big star, so to speak, in the league at the time.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he retires, with, you know, with the Patriots. And then literally, that was a year later or 2 years later, he kills himself. I'm thinking, you know, this is a serious situation. Now, this guy right now, they named the people this morning who he killed, but then he kills 2 kids. And there's another person right now who he shot and is literally hanging on for his life, too. This CTE situation needs to be addressed immediately. In my opinion, I don't know how else that I don't know. Money does seem to be the forefront. But let's jump back to this case. Huh? What do you want to say?
No, I just said always. It's always, you know, unfortunately, you know, we put money in front of human life. It just seems to be the running narrative here in America is that capitalism, which I'm not against, but if it's in the forefront and people are dying, you know, because of it, then something is wrong. It's just something is wrong with it.
Maybe this dude, Philip Adams, maybe the doctor he killed was his doctor, and maybe he was trying to say one thing, and maybe he felt he wasn't heard, because the guy he did kill, he killed the doctor and his wife, and he killed his grandchildren. So maybe it was his doctor that he killed. I mean, you know, the story's still unfolding right now.
Wait. He killed his own grandchildren or the doctor's grandchildren?
He killed the doctor's grandchildren. He killed the doctor, his wife, and the grandchildren. Now, what I'm saying right now is,
basically whoever was in the home. Basically.
Yeah, whoever was home, he killed.
Yeah, and let me give you a geographical vision of where this is. It's right by Rock Hill, South Carolina. So that's the border of when you leave the airport and you're leaving Charlotte Airport, but you're leaving the district of Charlotte. As soon as you crossing that line into South Carolina, that's that area right there. That's Rock Hill.
Yeah, and that's when he sat there and he decided that he was going to kill the doctor, but then he killed the doctor and his wife and the grandchildren who were there, and he shot somebody else who's literally holding on for his life right now. Like, you know, we're trying to
six people got shot, and he went right home. They got him at his crib. That's what makes you put it back to CTE. It's like you didn't even do this like criminalistically, like try to get away, go on the lam. You went back to the crib. You did this Thursday morning, they at your crib.
Yeah, and just like what Talon said, it didn't cross his mind as something that he did was wrong at all. It was just like something to pattern. Which also, listen, like I said, all signs are pointing to CTE. And when they do the autopsy on him, because he like I said, he shot himself. When they do the autopsy on him, they can basically verify. Now, that's why I said, will the NFL step in and do something? But I wanted to address this Deshaun Watson situation because this morning. And then the news is still unfolding. This morning, Deshaun Watson ended up losing the Beats by Dre sponsorship. He lost all the sponsorship from the city of Houston, all the city of Houston people in the surrounding areas, you know, people who do the local sponsorship. He lost all that this morning. Then he lost Beats by Dre 2 hours ago. And now, since I just said this, you know, literally while I was coming on the air just now, Deshaun Watson's attorney is feeling the pressure. So that's why he's filing a motion, because there's a woman who's going under the Jane Doe pseudonym who's saying the most against him. And he wants to speed up the process to get this court situation to be handled so it could be out in the open. So, you know, there's no more repercussions. As you can see, there's no more repercussions monetarily happening, because like we said yesterday, let's be honest. Let's be completely candid here. People are, you know, you guys are saying people, and you're right. There are some people right now who are sitting there saying, in the court of public opinion, there are people, especially sponsorships, who are feeling that he's guilty without hearing all the facts. Meanwhile, people who are talking amongst themselves like us, you know what I mean, and other, you know, some of these news reporters and sports reporters, they're saying, in their opinion, they're saying that it just seems too fishy. Well, the sports, you know, the advertisers are like, you know what, until this results get by, we need to step back. That's why Beats by Dre left. That's why Nike, you know, they don't, anything shady, anything, you know, suspect. Now we can't, I can't touch this. So with that being said, Talent, anything thoughts that you could say different now that you hear he's losing his sponsorship money now also?
No, because I expect that. I mean, nothing has happened that I didn't expect already. We know this is America. America is the capitalistic capital of the world. We know how it runs. We know that there's a code of conduct, at least a perception of it, that must be met or else when it comes to making money in corporations. So all these corporate sponsors, they're doing their due diligence as of right now to saying, okay, this thing, we're not going to be the judge and jury. We're not going to say he did. We're not going to say he didn't. We're going to say we're not touching it until it's all clear and we know what's what. which is the smart business thing to do if you are a corporation. It's to sit back and go, oh, they said he did that. What? What do you say? I say, no. Well, we filed the complaint. Okay, you know what? You guys work this out. And then when we figure out what it actually is, we're good. You know what I mean? We'll say he did it. We're not in business with him ever again. He didn't do it. Hey, come on, let's talk again.
Right.
That's the way business goes.
100% agree. The sad part is the person who's hurting the most right now is Deshaun Watson, because we all know that that's affecting his pocket. He might money's not necessarily going out just yet, but money's not coming into him now either, because when you lose sponsorship, obviously that goes out the window. And to lose Nike and Beats by Dre, fig, that's two big hits, 1-2 right there in the last 24 hours. Your thoughts?
You know, it's par for the course. Like Talent said, you know, these major corporations have to distance themselves from anybody that is even mildly associated with any kind of impropriety, certainly anything of a sexual deviant nature, anything criminal. They have to distance themselves from this particular individual until it comes out. The sad thing about it is that this is almost like a reverse of what things are supposed to be, because the way things are supposed to be, you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. But in America, we all know that that's not the case. Most of the time, you're guilty until you can prove your innocence, especially if your skin is brown. If you're a black person in America, you have to prove your innocence. There is no assumption of your innocence. The assumption is exactly the opposite. You're assumed to be guilty and you have to prove your innocence. Such is the case right now. He has to actually prove himself, prove that he didn't do the things that he said he did. And even if he does, this will be a stain on his name going forward for the rest of his life. He will never be able to escape this.
It definitely be a bookmark. But check this out. This is what I'm thinking. If his attorney right now is trying to expedite the court case to get in front of a judge to do that, they must know something unequivocally that can prove his innocence, because they're trying to rush the case to make it happen, besides the fact of him losing money. But they must feel that they can sit there and say, you know what, we can prove our innocence, and they must have some kind of damaging evidence that will prove the innocence, because I don't know any other attorney who's trying to rush the case, rush the clock, especially if you're guilty. You know what I mean? If they
not on the defense side.
Right.
On the defense side, they're usually more prone to try to stretch it.
Right.
It behooves the defendant. But in this case, he's right. If they're trying to rush this in front of a court and get this emergency hearing, they got something. But I always said that from the beginning. The fact that he didn't fold when he could have fold, he didn't, and he said, no, we're going to play this thing out. He must have something.
I think Deshaun is sitting on some kind of bomb that will clear this whole, you know what I mean? That'll settle this whole thing. And he's going to drop the bomb because, like we said, I don't know any attorney who will sit there and want to rush that, especially for a defendant, unless they know they're going to be proving themselves guilty.
I'll tell you one thing, that'll be so dope.
Yeah.
If he's sitting on the bomb, Frank, and he let all of this, no, seriously, he let all this stuff pile up. And just when everybody like, oh man, ready to sing Boys to Men, he go boom, and everybody just go.
Because and you know what's funny about this? This Jane Doe thing, when somebody can make accusations against you, you know what I mean, and then they don't have to come forward. So basically, what you're saying is, I'm going to make all of these damaging accusations against you. But then I don't know who you are, and I can't confront the accusations because you're a ghost. It's like, how do you fight an invisible person? You can't see him. You know what I mean? Somebody's just throwing dirt on you, and there's nothing you can do about it. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you fight that?
Rodney Perry's joined the conversation. Rodney, let me get you up, unless you've been paying attention.
I've been watching.
Okay, so now you already know, Rodney. What's your thoughts on Deshaun Watson losing his sponsorship with Beats by Dre and his attorney trying to rush the case to get in front of the court system right now?
Well, the legal move is that they're trying to get the young lady revealed.
Right.
Not necessarily rushing it, but to get her revealed. As I was reading, as I understand it, and just like Figment said, they're trying to eliminate the anonymity that this person is enjoying, if they're the most damaging person, because they need to be able to go like they did even back in the Kobe case. They need to go and look at her background and see what type of person she is, because that matters in a case like this.
Well, and they want to face the accusers, but the attorney is moving forward right now officially to try to make sure they rush this situation, because it just got the news report as soon as we came on.
Well, it's also affecting his ability to work. So if they don't get this case up and behind them, we talked about maybe Watson going to the Jets. None of that's going to happen.
Yeah, none of that.
They could tie this up for years.
Yeah. And that's a good move, strategy move for his attorney. Like I can't front. That's the best move. Now let me talk about another case that I saw this morning. I don't know if y'all ended up catching Draymond Green's comments that he made about women and equality, and basically saying it's y'all. He said a blanket statement saying that women, you know what, it's y'all fault that y'all are not equal pay to men, and y'all need to address that. Basically, to make a whole long story short, that's what he said. And then on top of all that, he went down the list of talking about, basically, if you need to step in front of the accusers who's saying whatever they say, you all need to do more. He said you all need to have a first and foremost person. I mean, he just kept going on and on and on. But what was clear is he didn't know what he was talking about. But and then to be against the women, this really, to me, is damaging for the women in the WNBA and women in all the sports for him to make some kind of statement like this. You know what I mean? Talent, when you hear this kind of statement coming from a professional NBA player, what's the thoughts that cross your mind?
You don't know what the hell you're talking about. It's easier said than done to just put that on somebody. Systems are in place for a reason. We were talking off air before we got on the show, and Fig was, mentioning about what actual, white power, white supremacy is having something over somebody. Women are not paid less because they came in the league and it's their fault. What's their fault? Like, you're paid less because a system, once again, is set into place. And this is what the system is. And every system, no matter what it is, justice system, racial equality, every system has to have its fights for equality. And they're in the middle of their thing now. It's not a fault thing. I think that's an asinine statement. You know what I mean?
Right.
To say that it's your fault you're getting paid what you're getting paid. No, not necessarily.
Yeah, I thought it was an asinine statement, number one, because it was coming from an NBA player and then from a black man. It was the WNBA is full of mostly black women. It was just like things like piling up. I didn't like it coming from him. And not that it would have been better if it had been a white man, but just from a man to a woman, number one.
Worse.
A black man, exactly. Black men talking about that. Overall, most of the women in sports are black women. You know what I mean? Especially the sports that are bringing in money for that, like especially WNBA.
But anything black, anything black. Like if you're black, how do you not understand?
Yeah, I ain't get it. Fig, what's your thoughts on this, bro?
Basically, if what you said is exactly what it is, then it really doesn't make sense, because it's almost like blaming black people for slavery. Like,
hello.
Like what? I'm not understanding. So the reason that we're in the position we're in is because we didn't stand up for ourselves and we didn't fight, and wait. You never heard of the women's movement? Equal rights, equal pay, voting rights. Like women have been fighting for as long as I can remember. In my lifetime. So to say that they need to stand up and do more. How? Can you lay out a blueprint as to whatever you think it is that they need to do to get this equality? And while you're doing that, why don't you just lay out the blueprint for what all black people need to do to get equality? Also, maybe we need to do more, according to Draymond. Like, what are you talking about? It's almost like it's almost like his commercial. Like, my sub has steak. Like, what?
Right. I agree with that. Rodney Perry, what's your thoughts, bro?
The only person I disagree with more than Fig is Draymond Green. But I'm trying to wrap my mind around what he was trying to say.
Right.
I think he was trying to say that women probably need to be proactive with equal pay, and I'm not. I don't think he's completely off base with that. I mean, if I know that somebody equal to me is making more money than me, if I know that, I should be able to make a move on that. And so if you just acquiesce that that's the way it's going to be, then you're never going to make more money. And that's not just women, that's anybody.
Right.
So maybe that's what he was trying to say. I haven't talked to him, but and he is, being an ex-player that a lot of times I have access to these guys, but I haven't talked to Draymond about this subject. No.
You know the funny thing is when you're on that level, we can't try to figure out what you're trying to say. We only gonna go on what you said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the problem because the mics are all in front of you. You're an NBA player. You see that the game thing, bro. We can't.
Well, how about this?
But we're guilty of it too. I mean, like last segment, y'all said almost the same thing.
How about if you can't articulate, you shut the hell up.
Yeah,
you can't. You don't have to. You don't have to be
because the guy's a basketball player. Need to shut the fuck up. That's unfair.
Oh no, I didn't say because he's a basketball player. I said if you can't articulate.
Frank said that.
I'm saying no. What Frank said was if you can't speak on that subject,
if you can't speak on anything or articulate,
don't say nothing.
Because you don't agree with him. I mean, he not articulating.
If you said Rodney, hold on, Rodney, you can't have it both ways. You just came in and tried to translate. You said maybe he tried to say this, right? So what I'm saying is going by what you just said. If he was trying to say that and it came out like that, he needs to shut the fuck up. Because hell ain't working with you. So he needs to shut the F up because if you saying, I'm going off what you just said. If what we're saying is he said it wrong or whatever, and you came in and said, well, I think he might have meant to say this. Well, if that's the case, then he definitely shouldn't be talking. If you can't articulate, get your point across, what you meant to say the right way, then you shouldn't be the one in front of the mic is all I'm saying.
How about this? If you don't know all the facts, don't say nothing about it because it's not going to come out properly if you don't know all the facts. You shouldn't speak on it anyway. And I don't know about y'all. That's like the lady saying, I don't know what she said to LeBron James about shut up and dribble because she was saying you don't know all the facts. When LeBron clearly was saying he does know all the facts. He's talking about something what he knows. You know what I mean? Right. I'm saying to say that about Draymond. If you don't know all the facts and you don't know what's going on, don't speak on it. We're going to listen to what you're saying, but dude, it will sound completely ignorant that you don't know what you're talking about when you say something like that. That's basically what I'm saying.
And the great philosopher said it's better to stay silent and to be thought of as a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt.
We can't knock that. Now, let me talk about this other thing. Speaking of silence and speaking of trying to make a statement, Justin Fields is having another pro day. Now, here's the thing, the thought that crossed my mind. I'm going to throw it to you, Talent. He's having a second pro day. And the first thing crossed my mind was, why would he feel he had to have a second pro day when he did phenomenal on his first pro day? Like he threw, let's just one fact. He was going to his left and he threw 65 yards down the field. Why does his brother feel he got to have a second pro day? I don't know.
It makes sense. If that means that one person you wanted to like you and be crazy about you, you're not feeling that vibe. You could have 10 people look at you and 9 of them like, that's great. And that one that you wanted is sitting there going, I don't know. I'm still not sold. And now you're like, damn, I need another pro day. So it's something in there that he didn't get the response. You may give him a certain response and a bunch of other people, but it doesn't matter if it doesn't come from the person or the organization that matters the most to that individual. I think that's why you do a second pro day. That's the only thing I could think of.
The funny thing is that you said that is what team wasn't there with the San Francisco 49ers. And the San Francisco 49ers are going to be there today. Fig, what's your thoughts?
I don't know. That may be the case. The thing that disturbs me is the fact that this kid is beyond phenomenal as a quarterback, and his skin just so happens to be, let's call this a coincidence, that his skin just so happens to be brown, and he has to go through another pro day to prove that he's as good or better than some of the other players that could possibly go ahead of him. They got this guy as maybe 1A, 1B, definitely no lower than 2, and they projecting him to drop down below the 5th pick overall as a quarterback. And that's just crazy. So now you got to do another pro day, which that whole combine pro day thing to me, man, is almost like it to me, man, it's very similar to a slave trade. Let me see his teeth This is a big, strong butt. Look at his shoulders. You know what I mean? Look at the size of his feet, his wingspan. I'm like,
Fig,
come on, man.
I like everything you're saying, except the only thing I don't agree with is that I don't think it's a race issue because of the top 5 quarterbacks, 3 of them are black. I think it's an issue, whereas he just doesn't like being listed as the 5th person. You know what I mean? I mean, we'll see. No, he's trying to be the second person. He's trying to be the second person. He just doesn't like being right now. He's being ranked as the 5th person. You know what I mean? Everybody's saying all these other players right now, they have him projected as the 5th quarterback. But hold on, let me Rodney Perry answer that. Rodney, what you think?
I mean, there was some talk of some of these players not even doing the pro day at all. And
right.
So I think he's definitely jockeying for position among his classmates. And, you know, I mean, they're saying that the pro day is kind of overrated. Like, you already got all this footage on this guy. You know who he is. You vetted him with different teams already. I mean, if he feels like he need another pro day, that's his call. And, you know, I mean, they have everything they need up to this point. Even if they wasn't there, they know if they want you.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think he's doing it because the San Francisco 49ers weren't there, and I think he wants them to, because everybody right now knows where they're going. Everybody, let's be honest. By the time at this point in time, when you're 2 weeks out of the draft, all the teams know who they're gonna pick. You know, if they get the opportunity. It's not like you doing this draft day is gonna make somebody go, you know what? Maybe we should get him, because if you're that undecided, you really shouldn't even have that job. Am I right? I mean, if I'm wrong, tell me. But if you're that undecided, you know, most of these GMs and most of these guys, most of these, you know, they all know they got this. They got guy 1 circle, they got guy 2 circle, and guy 3 circle. Depending on where they fall, by the time they get to make their pick, the only person who's not doing that is the number 1 person who's picking first. Those guys, whoever, if you're picking first, you know, I'm getting this dude. You know what I mean? That's just my thought.
You know, the big thing about this is that these guys, a great portion of the time, I would say more than not, they're wrong. Think about all the first round draft picks that have been traded this year. So 9 times out of 10, when they make the decision, they're like completely all wrong. They're like, they have no idea what it is that they're doing. It would seem, I mean, this is crazy. I know this is stretching, it's an exaggeration, but it seems that the fans of the team know who's going to be a better player than the actual people making the damn decisions. Frank, right. I know for plenty of times you could have picked a better player for the Patriots than they did a few times. Rodney with Chicago, Talent with the Jets, me with Knicks and stuff like we it's like the fans could see more than these guys seem like they're making the decisions. Like they don't know what the hell they talking about. And then here's the thing: there's no repercussions. There's no repercussions for making a bad decision.
A lot of times, because let's be honest, Lamar Jackson should not have fallen way down in the NFL draft. He should have been way up high. Listen, 2 years ago, he was literally in running for the MVP. But you know, what do we all know? You know what I mean? We sit home, we watch the game from my couch. What do we know? Let me ask you all about
Patrick Mahomes wasn't the first pick.
Yeah, let me ask you all this. Richard Sherman is sitting on the sidelines right now, right? Talent, I'm gonna ask you this. Should he land on Dallas? Because everybody else is talking about right now, Richard Sherman, is not working. And Dallas needs a hell of a makeover to fix their defense. And everybody's focusing this morning on Sports Talk Radio and Sports TV. They were like, hey, Dallas getting ready to get a pick in the draft. Maybe they should focus on defense. Richard Sherman is out there. Davian Clowney's out there. You know, there's a couple of huge free agents right now who are out there sitting there waiting to get a job. So what are your thoughts on this, Talent?
I like that. I like that idea. That you should have put that in the brief, Frank. That's a good brief. Richard Sherman to Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, and Jadeveon Clowney. Let's think about that.
I like that. Yeah, and you bump that D up. You're doing your thing. Your boy comes back off that injury. Now you're back in now you make the division look better. Mm-hmm. You know, if the Giants could get it together. I like that though. That's a good Pelican brief. Yeah, they should. He's sitting on the sideline. He's a bona fide player. I like Richard Sherman to the Dallas Cowboys. I didn't put that up as Dallas as a brief because the simple fact being they both are free agents. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, but that makes sense though. Makes a lot of sense.
They should do that. They should do that. Fig, what's your thoughts?
To tell you the truth, man, this is kind of like strange for me. I think Jadeveon Clowney has a better chance of getting picked up sooner than a Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman is an intelligent, black, outspoken player who is slightly aged with dreads. I mean, and then you want a millionaire billionaire team owner to pick that type of dude on the team when his productivity is not as it used to be. Like, here's the thing: you could get away with a lot when your skills equal winning, but if your skills diminish ever so slightly, then you can't be outspoken and still expect somebody to give you a job.
You know something, Fig? You are the lightest skinned, blackest man I know, hands down. like that, brother. You are so black. Fight the power, black power, and the only dude I know light skinned fight the power like that. Rodney Perry, what's your
Malcolm X?
Rodney Perry, what's your thoughts?
I mean, I think Fig said, and we know that I really hate to agree with Fig, but the reality is Richard Sherman is getting up there, man. I mean, Richard Sherman is a lockdown cornerback. He graduated to safety with the 49ers. He graduated off the field with the 49ers, and now he's looking for a job. He's probably got maybe 2 seasons left in him, and so he needs to go somewhere that can make a run like right now. So,
good point.
So Richard Sherman to Dallas, that might be cool, but what is he really gonna give you? He's not a shutdown corner. He's a safety at best.
Right.
At best. But he's still big. He still can hit. I mean, he's still a football player, you know. So I mean, I like Richard Sherman, but
so what you saying, Rodney, is he should go to the Brooklyn Nets?
He should go to the Nets.
Clippers? Somewhere they can make a run right now.
Him and Boogie Cousins need to run the backcourt.
Here's the thing with Richard Sherman. He definitely lost a step. But I think right now, since he lost a step, I think he's trying to get a check. You know what I mean? He knows he's at the tail end. I think he's trying to get a check. He's nowhere near as fast as he was. And he's almost out the league. I don't even think he got 2 years left. I think this year is going to be his last year.
But he's still a football player. Like, it's just some stuff you can't teach. And he's going to make your cornerbacks better. He should if you get him in the locker room. Hopefully.
I don't think he's that diminished, Frank. I'm not going to go as far as you just did. But, yeah, I mean, everybody loses a step with age, you know, and all that. But I think he's still bona fide player. Like, he still can make a difference on the right team.
Good on Madden.
Right. Well, let me talk about this next thing, because the funny thing is we were talking about Deshaun Watson, and we were talking about, you know, obviously he needs to rush this case. The Jets right now, since some of y'all are Jets fans, the Jets right now are realizing this. So this morning they had Brian Hoyer visit the Jets. Now, if the Brian Hoyer signs with the Jets and the Jets pick him up, that's going to tell you immediately they're going to try to get him to start. And then they're going to fold their hands and wash their hands of Deshaun Watson case. Because I think, like I said a couple of days ago, I think that they're sitting there waiting on the sidelines for Deshaun Watson. But the first sign of them signing a quarterback and them throwing their hands up with Deshaun Watson, you know what, we ain't going to get him, we can do something else, is by Brian Hoyer visiting them right now. So you hear Brian Hoyer sign with the Jets. You Jets fan talent. What do you think about that when you hear that news?
It's good news. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I could get with that. You know, we need, let's just call a spade. We need everything right now, especially with giving up. I thought we had some hope in our quarterback, giving up the quarterback starting over there. And it looks like we're moving on hope and prayers and draft picks, of course. We need everything. So I'm not mad at that at all. I think that's good news. You know what I mean? We can make that work. Any kind of football brain you can bring to that team right now, we'll take it.
All right, well, talent, I'm going to be mad for you, okay? Because Brian Hoyer.
Don't be mad.
No, I'm gonna be mad for you. I'm gonna be mad for you. Brian
Hoyer.
Look
what we got. Don't be mad.
Listen to this. Brian Hoyer, one, he sucks. Number two, they could make 1 or 2 trades, 1 or 2 picks, and get Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater is a huge jump up from Brian Hoyer. You know, he ain't the best.
Oh no, yeah, he is, but I don't think Bridgewater. Remember, I said this. Bridgewater's not coming this way. You know what I mean? He's not coming this way. That deal that's in the works where he's going to end up. He's not coming this way. If I thought he could come this way, I'd be all over it. Like right on rice.
He could. The Jets have so many draft picks that they could say, hey, we throw you 2 draft picks. Let us get Teddy Bridgewater. Because right now, they already made a pick. Bridgewater is not going to start over there. So they got to do something.
If they're using those draft picks for what you think they are, if they're doing what you think they are, they're going big. They're not going to stop with a Bridgewater. They're going to use those draft picks for, like we was just talking about, you know, even though this trial's blowing up and all this Deshaun Watson, that's more plausible to throw some draft picks at They've been stacking draft picks for a reason.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I get that. Fig, tell me what you think.
I go back to something that I said. Talent. I'm harping on something that Talent said, and I just sort of reiterated it. That there are some teams that seem to do better when they're losing, and a move like this just it gives me so much pause with the Jets organization. You get off Sam Darnold, who is a young up and coming player with a lot of potential, and then all you're going to get is Brian Hoyer, and you have the number 2 pick in the NFL draft. I'm like, that makes no sense to me whatsoever. Like, absolutely none. I mean, you have so many picks as a Jets organization and so many holes to fill. It would seem to me that you would have kept the quarterback that you had and filled those other holes up, you know what I mean, on the defense and the offensive line, get you some playmakers, and possibly make a run at your division. This doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
I don't think that's not end all be all, Vic.
Yeah, it's not. That's not
going to be end all be all. I don't want you to think that they're hanging a team hat on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I will say again before I throw it to Rodney Perry, getting Teddy Bridgewater and then making that pick, that's the number 2 draft pick, would be a whole lot more sense because you would have.
Oh, I agree.
Look at this. You got Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, or Zach Wilson. Trevor Lawrence is going 1. He going 1. So after he goes 1, the other 4 could come sit under a Teddy Bridgewater, and that makes more sense than sitting under a Brian Hoyer. Rodney Perry, tell me what you think, bro. Maybe I'm tripping.
Man, I don't know what it is with Teddy Bridgewater. He should be way more respected, but he's just not, man. It goes back to what Fig said. I mean, and I've had a chance to talk to some black quarterbacks in the NFL. They just don't get no respect, man. I mean, at the end of the day, that's kind of what it boils down to. Whether it's my man in Baltimore or Deshaun Watson or Teddy Bridgewater, black quarterbacks get no respect. And that's the bottom line of this, dude. I mean, we talking about Darnold has got a job and Bridgewater don't. Bridgewater is better than him.
Yeah. I 100 agree with that.
So it's like what's going on here, and you just can't keep ignoring it. We got to go like, wait, okay, you know. And then some people say, well, how you gonna put a race card on that? Well, they keep playing. The whole deck is race cards.
Yeah, that's definitely race card. That's a race card.
And I'll just say this: the best Hoyer that I know of is the Georgetown Hoyers. It don't have nothing to do with Brian Hoyer. It's the Georgetown Hoyers.
Yeah, and that one's spelled different, but I understand your point. Look, RG3 is even sitting out there too.
Hey,
I mean, you got a whole bunch of guys sitting out there like right now. Why aren't the Jets making? Like, I cannot see. I'm sorry to keep tripping on this, but
listen, it's not. Hoyer, I think because you guys are looking at it like that's the move. I'm telling you, that's not the move.
No,
he's going to
not.
be okay coming in, but the move is still coming. Frank is what I'm trying to tell you. He's not good. He's not the end all. Hang your hat. This guy hands up. That's not what this is.
No, it's not what this is. But what it is is the Jets definitely going to make a move on the draft, right? They definitely going to do that. We already know that. They're going to do that. But the guy who's coming in, whoever the guy comes in, he has to look up to and learn from the guy who's there, who's a veteran. All I'm saying is they got a veteran. They should bring in a veteran QB, a RG3, a Bridgewater, one of these kind of guys. They got so many picks, they can do that and still try to go after Deshaun Watson and sit there and wait. But bringing in Brian Hoyer is not the answer. That dude is horrible. I don't care what nobody says. And I know that better than anybody because I'm a Patriots fan. You know what I mean? I've seen that dude play for years. He's trash. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just going on. I don't know.
I mean, systems make quarterbacks too. Maybe getting a different system, he could shine.
It ain't no better system than the Patriot system, bro. He was
in
it.
Whoa, fam.
I'm sorry.
This system got exposed this year. Stop it.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
That's another show for another day. That's another show for another day. All right, let me move on because
I expect the Patriots to be better this year.
Yeah, let me talk about a couple of things. Like first thing I got to jump out with, man, is y'all's boy Kevin Durant came out last night. I watched a large portion of that game, and telling them to start with you, bro. I don't care what nobody said. Ain't nobody gonna take this thought off my mind. But the only people who are gonna beat the Nets this year is gonna be the Nets. I don't care what nobody says. I saw them play last night. when Kevin Durant came off the bench, they looked scary, like scary. You know, like so talent.
Well, you know, that's we asked for it, we got it. Toyota, the Rucker Park has officially arrived in Brooklyn. And that's what you got to see last night. I watched that game, and I continue to be amazed with Kyrie Irving's play. His point guard play, his ball handling, his generalship out there is crazy. And then when KD comes on that floor, you're reminded of how naturally unstoppable, not going all out of my way, but I'm naturally this unstoppable force. And this is the argument I've been having, and Rodney Perry, we could have it too. This is why he's better than LeBron to me.
Yeah,
he changes the whole landscape of basketball when he's out there.
You know, when he came onto the floor, everything changed immediately. Like it stood out, lights out. But Fig, what's your thoughts?
Kevin Durant, man, ever since he left Texas, he was a pure scorer then when he was in Texas. When I was watching that boy play in college, I'm like, man, this dude here is the one. I'm like, he is the number one pick. And I was like, anybody that passes on this dude is crazy. And he's been doing it ever since day one. He's been putting up those kind of numbers. His efficiency is just it's just unbelievable, man. This dude can literally drop 30 points on 10 shots. It's like just the way that he does. It's effortless, man. He's just born to do this. And Kyrie Irving is a video game. Period.
Oh my goodness.
He's just a video game.
Oh my goodness.
Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
This is the thing, man. KD better than LeBron. Okay. KD is maybe more efficient than any player ever to play the game, but I wouldn't say better. He's not drawing the comparison of Michael Jordan. So let's just slow down. Let's just slow down on being better than LeBron. Ain't nobody like, oh, KD, MJ. That ain't no talk. If that's not talk, then you all right.
But you know where that comes from. That's the league did that. When you make somebody the face of the league, of course you're going to get them comparisons.
Is it my turn?
Yes, I'm sorry. I apologize. I digress.
No, I mean, I hear what y'all saying, but again, we don't even say that. In the barbershop, you ain't never had a conversation. In the barbershop, KD better than LeBron or KD better than Michael Jordan, ever. Nobody ever said that. Even Fig, who hates LeBron and loves Michael Jordan.
No, I don't. I just hate the fact that y'all compare him to Mike.
Exactly. and that's my point. Certain people are never compared to Mike. That certain person would be KD. And let's take it one step further. And he's tweeting Michael Rappaport. That in itself makes him less of a human.
It's even worse than that.
There's a certain way you carry yourself when you're great.
This is how you can tell.
I'm not finished, Fig. There's a way you carry yourself when you're the greatest. If you want to be the greatest, and let's not forget that LeBron had already destroyed KD, James Harden, and Westbrook together. Mm-hmm. Together.
Oh,
that's not true.
Slap a baby and then act like you did something special.
They babies? They not.
Yeah, when they played them, they were babies.
Fig, that's a horrible reason to say that. Don't say that.
You smacked a bunch of rookies.
They were in the NBA.
They're not rookies. They wasn't
so
rookies.
What, man? You smacked a young team. So what?
All right. So,
I'll tell you what. Let's put what we almost did. We almost put all three of them. Let's see what happens this year. Because now they all of age. KD, James Harden. The only one that we don't have on the Brooklyn Nets is Russell Westbrook. So let's see. We don't even know if they're gonna make it.
We don't know if they're gonna make it though, Fig. They all injury prone.
All right, tell you what.
Kyrie injury prone. We don't know who's gonna be in the finals.
All right, let's move this conversation on. Let me ask you all this.
Nets?
No, but let me ask you all this. Since we want to talk about hypotheticals and everything else, the NBA TV is dropping a documentary right now. I don't know if y'all heard about this. On April 11th, the documentary is about the 96 draft. Now, if you know about the 96 draft, you know how powerful it was. If you don't, here's some of the players. Allen Iverson came out in it, Ray Allen, Kobe Bryant, Steve Nash, Marcus Camby, Derek Fisher. You know, it was so far up to this date right now, it was the most NBA star-studded draft ever existed, hands down. My question for you, Talent, is going to be, Allen Iverson was drafted number 1. Okay. Would you know what you know now? I'm going to tell you off the rip. I love AI to death. But to me, knowing what I know now, Kobe should have been the clear cut. And, you know, obviously he was coming out of high school. But knowing what you know now, you know how Kobe should be the number 1 pick in the draft, right? Out of all those dudes, right?
No, because because we're talking hypothetically, what we're not factoring in this hypothetical is who had those picks and what would become that team. Meaning, it's not just the pick. You know what I mean? You got that player, that's their potential, but would these ducks, you know, and everything line up? Because if somebody else took Kobe first, right, and kept him, they wouldn't have put together the Lakers squad that he was on to do all the things and achieve those accolades. Well, so all that goes into that. Right, but just off of player strength.
Kobe was drafted by Charlotte and then traded to the Lakers. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. If whoever took him first, other than the Lakers, kept him, you don't have those ducks in a row to line up to get to what we know Kobe is his achievements now. But a lot goes into that. But off a pure player, I'm still grabbing Allen Iverson.
Yeah, but I'm gonna throw it to Fig now. But check this out: if Kobe had gone first, he would have went to the Sixers, bro. The Sixers had the number 1 pick in the draft. They picked AI. You know, and you know how they put that team together. Fig, what you think? Know what you know now. Who would you pick number 1 in the draft?
You know, if you go with longevity and how they ended up, then Kobe is the better player of all of them that came out. But if you think about it, when Kobe first came out, he had to ride the bench behind Eddie Jones. So Kobe wasn't Kobe when he first got drafted. He became Kobe, but you know, and that's the only thing that you could do. You could say because of what they became, then you pick Kobe. But just straight off the rip, Kobe wasn't Kobe when he first came out. He had a lot of potential. He had a lot of skill. Kobe, because he couldn't even beat out Eddie Jones on the Lakers for a starting spot.
But Kobe did end up becoming who he was at the end of his rookie season. He turned dope at the end of his rookie season. Rodney Perry, what's your thoughts?
I mean, it's always hard to what if just stuff like this, man. If you go back in time and you're the 76, do you pick Kobe Bryant? Allen Iverson was head and shoulders the best player in that draft. Yeah. And it's a reason he got picked first. But like you say, looking at the hindsight, you gotta pick Kobe Bryant. But like Talon said, it ripple affects the whole league. So the league we see now, with Kobe being this great player, maybe Kobe never becomes that.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't go to the Lakers.
Yeah, or maybe AI ends up on the Lakers and gets to play with Shaq.
Organizations matter, though. I mean, forget the personnel. Organizations matter. Playing with the Lakers matter. A championship organization, you know, that matters. He go to Philly, he might be hanging out with Meek Mill right now.
That's true, too.
I'll tell you one thing. I wish I could do this hypothetical with some of the girls I dated. Knowing what I know now.
Talent. That's a show for a different day. And
that's a different kind of show.
Yeah, that's number 1.
And a show that 3 of us really can't be a part of, you know.
Yeah. And we all don't want to sleep on the couch, so we don't want to have that conversation.
And plus, that would break up other marriages.
Yeah, we want to have that conversation. God. All right, let me ask you all about this, Talent. Since the trade that happened this season, right, and since Aaron Gordon ended up on Denver now has won 7 straight. And Denver is looking really good this year. And Utah is looking really good this year. The Lakers might not even make it to the finals. You know, let's be honest, because Denver's playing lights out. Utah's playing lights out. People still not trying to forgetting that, you know, the Lakers don't have a team like they had last year. Let's be honest. They ain't got that team like they had last year. Utah's playing lights out. Denver just won 7 straight. What's your thought process on right now on Denver winning 7 straight?
I love it. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Coming off of last year, I expected them to come back and throw us one better, and they're doing it. You know what I mean? Listen, bro, I don't know who these Laker fans is other than Rodney that think that they're entitled. That's yellow and gold entitlement. You know, they think they're supposed to get there and they're supposed to like hold me a spot for the finals.
Mm-hmm.
The hell out! Ain't nobody holding those spots. Denver said, "The screw your spot holding. Right. We taking our spot. We taking this. Utah, same thing. We taking this. We on our way. You want a spot? Come beat us for this spot." Right. And they mean that. I seen one of them in a post interview, you know, say something disrespectful about Rodney Perry and LeBron.
Vic, what's your thoughts? Hurry up, we gotta get to this. 3 minutes left. Vic, what's your thoughts?
Better not be talking about Rodney. I don't give a damn what they say about LeBron, but you better not say nothing bad about my man Rodney Perry. That's all I'm trying to tell you. Look, man, listen. I thought that Denver was gonna be really good, man, when they picked up Gordon, and then they got JaVale McGee, and I'm like, yo, man, Denver is athletic. They young. They can run. Because of their age, you know, they can recover better than the older team and stuff like that. So in the West is going to be the best playoffs that we have seen in quite a few years, because all of those teams are kind of quite equal with Denver and the Lakers and you got the Clippers. This is going to be like great basketball, man, and I can't wait for the postseason.
Right. Rodney Perry, I'm gonna throw it to you, but I'm gonna just say this. Denver is probably the only team since last year that statistically got better, and we saw how good Denver did last year. What's your thoughts on this, Rodney?
Right. You know, everybody got a plan. They get punched in the mouth. You know, and I mean,
very
it's
true.
one thing to play a great regular season, but when you got to see a team 7 times in a row, that team gets a chance to figure you out. And what team is better at doing the homework, talent?
Yeah.
The Lakers. The Lakers do their homework, and they come back and they play better. They rarely lose 2 games in a row. But how about this? They are injury-ridden this year. Do they look weaker than years past? Absolutely. I mean, you see LeBron with his 2nd injury in a career this year. And so if they can field their squad, if you get AD on the court and LeBron on the court, I put my money on them guys all day, every day.
Yeah, and not to mention DeMarcus Cousins did join the Lakers this year, so they are going to look better. But anyway, that's the show, fellas.
Whoa, the Clippers.
I meant the Clippers. I meant DeAndre.
By the time them 10 days pass, LeBron will be back playing, and he going to be something else in there.
And if was a spliff, we be all high, baby. It's your boy Tyler. Get me on Twitter at It's Just Comedy. Holler at your boy.
I meant Andre Drummond. Everybody out there.
It's your boy FIG. You see it right there, Comedian Fig, baby. You can follow me on all social media platforms. Bam! But if you're looking for me Monday through Friday between 1 to 2 p.m., I'm on the best damn sports show, period. Ask your mama.
Rodney Perry, tell everybody how they can follow you.
I'm easy to find. RodneyPerry.com is the website. Rodney Perry Live is the YouTube page. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for watching the show. Name of the show is Box Seats. Name of the channel is The Humor Mill. We'll be back tomorrow, 1 o'clock. You know how we get down. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. Download the app. All that. We will see you all tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Yay!